All right. Blah, blah. Hello. Sorry that I haven't been uploading in a while. It is. Um. Honestly, it's a week and a half, and I gotta say I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been going through a lot, and honestly, um, mentally, I wish I can say I was okay, but I think physically I am okay. But let's get right into this. All right. So if you guys don't know, I'm very advocate on Star Wars stuff. My last video was about Rogue One. Obviously, I get my heart out there. Um, but really, I think it's already been like a week now since the Fallout Season 2 finale came out. Obviously, great season. Honestly, better than Season 1 in my opinion. And I'm a Fallout fan. I've loved it since Fallout 3 in New Vegas. It was hard for me to get into it, but I would say Fallout 3 is more in my heart more than New Vegas. I think just personally because of that's the one that I first played compared to New Vegas, and I love the franchise. Fun fact, the first Fallout game I've actually was slowly getting into was 76, but my dad made me return it, right after he discovered it was M-rated. So I'm recently just getting back into the game. So, but besides that, Fallout fan, you could see it from what do you call the bottles of Nuka Cola and what do you call and Sunset. Obviously, you know when I first saw it at my Costco, I was like, let me grab that. But yeah. But to the point why I'm bringing Fallout into this is because I think Fallout did a good depiction of what I would call a character arc, bad, what do you call bad into good. I think that's the best way I could describe it, because Brotherhood of Steel isn't relatively bad. They have bad morals. They have the old world ideal of the old US, and obviously they have the whole no ghouls, no mutations, they're all abominations, that type of rule. Obviously nasty, but compared to like the Legion, the Enclave, it's honestly more on the just on it's on if we're talking about scales, the Enclave on the fucking top, the Legion slightly below it, and then after the Brotherhood of Steel right below that, and then I'm trying to think of any, and then besides the I'm not talking about any of the good ones, like the Minutemen or Shady Sands. There it is. Sorry, I blinked, but because we'll take a little break of Fallout. Got mad when it came to 76, but besides that, yeah. So knowing all this, forgot the point I said. The Brotherhood of Steel, obviously is on the least bad of all bad, but it doesn't take away that they are relatively evil with their morals on the ghouls and any as what they would so call abominations. But yeah, so in the show we follow Maximus, basically killed his he was an squire, and then became knight because he killed the knight, forgot his name, but in season 1. And then obviously in season 2 we see the overwhelming arc of having this power of in the Brotherhood of Steel, and basically betraying it, and returning the fusion core and trying to find the best person to give what do you call the fusion core to. And that's obviously the plot. And then after at the end we assume, we seem to believe that Maximus signs with the NCR. And honestly, the NCR is one of the best factions in the new world, post-apocalyptic world of Fallout. And which leads me to the point where I'm gonna play the edit here of why I'm talking about it, because there's a a comment that honestly related me to Star Wars, because it said that what do you call Maximus is basically what we wanted Finn to be in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. So I'll play the edit here because I love this edit. I'll just play here. But yeah, and that made me think of like I grew up with the sequel series because honestly, because I was born after the prequels and the what do you call the original trilogy. But I watched the original trilogy. I watched the prequel trilogy. In my opinion, Attack of the Clones is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I watched the Clone Wars as well growing up. So honestly, me with this deep Star Wars knowledge and seeing that the sequel trilogy came out, every each birthday, I went to the theaters, with my parents and my whole family to watch the new Star Wars film. Each time it came around my birthday, a Star Wars movie came out, and I was so happy when those movies came out because I was like, oh, new Star Wars, iteration. I'm so excited. The Force Awakens, sadly, is the I guess the only good one out of the whole trilogy of the sequels, because if you look at it to the standpoint, it brought like some good stepping stones. Rey, obviously somebody that was gonna help with the rebels, basically an orphan, didn't have no path and found the Millennium Falcon with Finn and this and that, and BB-8, everything led to her, which at a time, we obviously didn't know that she was gonna be a Force user, things like that. Obviously there were hints. And then with Finn, he helped Poe Dameron basically escape, the Kylo Ren, helped escape from Kylo Ren, and went to I forgot the planet, but basically escaped, and then reunited with the rebellion, and obviously fought against Kylo Ren and the new supremacy. So seeing this, and the comment that said that this is basically what Star Wars fans would have loved, I absolutely agree. Finn, he, honestly, good plot point. He saved a rebel from captivity. He basically, helped them, fight against, his old basically teammate. Oh man, let's just say, his old friends that were in the supremacy. And obviously we see Finn is like, oh, and then him having a one-on-one fight with Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. You obviously like, oh dang, he could be the one. He could, like, this is such a good, story written character. Think of it this way. Everybody thought, oh, Finn, turned against, what he only knew, and became, what everything thought he wasn't gonna be, a Force user, lightsaber user, obviously something great and a big asset to the empire. I mean, to the rebellion. Sadly, he wasn't. He basically got shoved to the sideline in the 2 movies following it, and he basically had a gun. He just had a blaster. I mean, why not write 2 Force-like characters, co-aligning together and working together? It would have been so great. And Luke Skywalker in the sequel trilogy, poorly written. Honestly, I know that the actor did not like the script that he was given to. And Maximus, a kid, basically survived the nukes of Shady Sands, was taken by the Brotherhood of Steel, just like how Finn was taken up by the supremacy. I mean, it looks like 1-to-1. And then after betraying the past person that basically took them up, and obviously fighting for democracy, practically the rebellion is built on hope and built on democracy and built on everybody being equal. Literally, Maximus saved a bunch of kids that were ghouls, and saved his old friend who was turning into, we still don't know who it's gonna be. If he's gonna be an FEV monster, or he's actually gonna be a ghoul. It's more leaning towards the FEV, since it did get mentioned in season 2. I mean, he saved what he would have been, what the Brotherhood of Steel were considered abominations.
They're abominations. And so are you.
But they are kids.
Xander, come on, man. We don't.
No.
Please, Xander, please stop.
The Codex is clear on this.
And without the rules, where are we?
Fuck the Codex, Xander. Listen to me. No.
I'm down.
Stop, Xander. No.
Wait.
And he basically, saved them. He let them free, and obviously gave them hope. And literally, as the edit showed, determination. It basically brought Undertale with the whole Fallout series. I mean, it is a great depiction of all these characters. And Maximus, again with the comment, Maximus is everything that the Star Wars fans wished Finn would have been. And the Finn was wasted potential. I mean, the writers had so much they could have done with him, but they decided, let's just give it to Rey. Let's not, divide it equally. And Maximus' character is it's like perfectly written of good, bad turning into good, and going against, the things that he grew up, because I'm telling you, same plot points. They grew up, fairly well, taken up by, the evil side, and then after turned good after, figuring, that the morals that they were doing were bad. And so yeah, this is one of my rant videos, and obviously, thank you for sticking to the end of my rant. Like and subscribe. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.